guys, my name is Anna, you're watching simcue, and I am back. From your perspective, I haven't really been gone. Videos have been uploaded, but I haven't been playing for I think at least 18 days. So it's good to be back. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So it's already been quite a long time since I built the tiny house in Brindleton. And when I built that, the Real Success Vault asked me to also build a base game tiny house. And that is what we're getting around to today. And I actually have the perfect inspiration because I did get to stay at a tiny house on my way home from Italy. So that was just absolutely perfect. So I want this space for a bed. And then I'm thinking, honestly, squishing living room into this space. And then also having a bathroom. Now, I will admit, I did check this beforehand, and if we go in here and we turn it into an actual tiny house, it is now, you can see, a little bit bigger. But if we look at the requirements, this is a tiny home. And if you only have base game, these requirements won't even fit. And I just really like the size of this. So I think this is what we're going to go with. And then I realized if I'm already using 36 out of 64, I might as well add just a little bit out here in the front, because I don't really think that this could in any way be considered like part of the indoor space. I understand why they can only count it like this, but it bothers me a little bit because I would really like to have a terrace that is a little bit raised, like so. I just think that looks a little bit better. Maybe we should even raise it a bit more since we have the option. Yes, that could be nice as well. So technically this now has 64 tiles, but we are more so working on just the inside. So this is now our starting point. I think for most of it, it's going to be fine. I'm a little bit worried about furniture only having the base game, but that is a general worry of mine. So yeah, let's just continue. We want a little bit of a roof, and the tiny houses that I visited had this kind of roof. It was in Germany. We were, what was the city called? I think we want like small windows. It would be really cool if this one, because this is going to be the bathroom, if it came with like a tinted version, like the ones from Businesses and Hobbies. But we will just pretend that this is tinted, or maybe I will actually remember to put in curtains. That's also an option. Here, a slightly bigger window. Let me just get base game. There we go. Maybe just something like this. I'm so glad they added these windows because they actually look pretty nice. So that's a bathroom, kitchen, bedroom. I think that window makes sense. It would be cool if it was like 3 wide, I think, but I don't think we have that with the base game. No, we don't. Would this match? I don't hate it as much as I thought I might. Let's keep it for now, because I don't think I want any windows here. At least there weren't in the house that we were staying in. And then here, we just want a door, a little door. Is this one that's like supposed to match? Absolutely flipping not. Okay, great. So what door do we have? Did they give us a full set of windows and no matching doors? Seems very plausible. Why? I really didn't think this was going to be the struggle. I would just like to only have like a one wide tile, a one tile door, so that we don't take up too much space on the inside. And you'd think that that was an option, but I guess not. I definitely like the look of this one better. So what bothers me is that it's just the tiniest bit taller than short wall height, which just seems so silly. What I'm thinking is that even though in real life the roof was on this way, but that really doesn't matter. So if we technically did the roof like that and then we lower it back to the short wall, that actually works. And I think that that might look better for the indoor space. I mean, I'm fine with this door. I think that's pretty cool. I just want a lot of light in there. So maybe we'd do it like that. Cheating just a little bit. Then I hope we have some nice paneling. And by nice paneling, I don't mean this. Is this our nice paneling? Our one and only nice paneling in the base game? I think it is. Is this the one that doesn't align? Please. No. It's good enough. I will ignore it. I shall ignore the little bit of disalignment. Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. Totally fine. Let's choose a roof texture. You would honestly probably have something like that, right? Yeah. And then just a little bit of a roof trim. I like that, actually. Wow. Never have I ever made decisions that fast. Maybe this is the best. And then this can go there. And then this can go, I think maybe one lower. That's a little bit cuter. Why does it do that? Why does it cut into the foundation? That's so annoying. Ugh, okay, fine. I do think I want the concrete. So can I have some concrete? Base game concrete, a blazer. I don't like it. Oh, maybe that one. It's actually quite nice, I think. Looks like a good slab of concrete. that is our best option. Yes. Very nice. So for the flooring, I kind of like this, but I'm wondering if it's maybe a little too light. Oh, there is that color. That's actually quite nice. These planks are quite nice as well. So which ones do I prefer? I do think I like the texture of these ones a little bit better. Should we then go with these ones? That actually kind of works. So maybe like that. And it's actually the same thing for the bathroom. Let's do that for now as well. Normally you would probably lower the shower. This was actually higher up because it was more like a module. And so I'm wondering if we should do, oh, but we only have base game. I can only use a base game shower. Never mind. Why have they not given us a base game, you know, where it's just the shower head? Like, why do we only have cubicles? That's bothering me. I have so many questions for the base game showers. Like, what if we did it like that, right? But then what's that space? This one better? It doesn't look very good. It's not a good looking shower. Let's be honest. This is not a good looking shower. It's the most expensive one, but it's not nice. Okay, what if we play with it a little bit? I know I'm getting distracted. All of a sudden we're doing the bathroom for no particular reason other than the fact that I don't know how to handle the shower situation. But what if you did like that, right? Because then they could use that, right? And then you do like window and then you just look at it with horror, realizing how ugly it is. I think we'll use this shower and we'll just get rid of the wall. Bada bing, bada boom. No more problemo. Okay. I was actually at wallpaper. I think because it was rental, or like not rental, but because it was more like a hotel kind of thing. It was just white walls, but I don't really like white walls all that much. So I think we should find something else. Do we want texture? No. So just a color that is something else than white. There was a really nice like green panel behind the bed. Like that maybe? That's blue. Okay. Maybe I'm a little bit colorblind. My father is colorblind, so there's always a chance. Thing is, we never actually know how other people perceive the color that we are seeing. We just assume that they are seeing the same thing. And then you play Uno, and you have to explain to your father how we cannot play a green card on top of a blue card. But maybe like that. That could work. Maybe we should just do tiles in here, since I can't even do the whole shower situation probably. Maybe that's just a better choice. Also, a little bit limited, you know? Oh, those are very pretty tiles though. Those are actually really pretty. I really like those. Do I want to? I kind of want to use them. I think this cream tone paint is probably going to work better, just so that it's a little less busy in here, because I do really like these tiles, to be honest. So, hi guys, Editing Anna here. You were supposed to watch a clip of me actually furnishing this place, but instead of recording the gameplay footage, my idiot brain managed to record my audio recording. So now all I have is this. Because technically we'd want something that doesn't really have a bed head. A bed. That's not a bed head. That's a, what is this part called? That's called a bed backing. Oh, I've been thinking about how to fix that issue and I haven't come up with any good ideas. So we are unfortunately just going to have to skip ahead. Sorry. So as I've already mentioned, the inspiration for this is more of a hotel. So to actually max out the space and also make it a bit more useful in The Sims 4, I was thinking if maybe we could do like a desk space underneath the TV. It might be a little tiny, but it might be hopefully worth it. So if we get just the smallest dining table that we have, like this one, and let's just get a matching color either way. And then we also have a little teeny tiny laptop like that. We can then size down the table and place it so that it looks like it's actually on this shelf. Let me just get this shelf into the right spot. Is that there? It actually is there. Gosh, these walls. Oh, but then the walls are a little bit annoying. What if we make this a little bit bigger? What if it's 1.2? What if it's 1.3? I think that looks a little bit more promising. Kind of want to place it with the TV then. So like that, right? And this could be placed like here, and maybe something like this. Could that work? Because that would then match the couch, right? I feel like that kind of works. How do we like that? I kind of like it. It seems useful. Preferred in this color, but the minor detail. So overall, does feel pretty spacious. We are missing a door, so let's maybe get a door. But I also in here just want these ones. And then for the bathroom situation, let's get a sink. Let's get a base game sink. And I think the one that we tried in the kitchen will probably work the best for this. And then for a mirror, we just want, I think, a big mirror, also just to make the like space feel bigger. So if we get two of these and if we then squish them a little bit, it actually removes that line. So that works. That looks really nice, I think. And then a toilet. Let's get a nice looking. Oh, this is actually quite nice. Right underneath the window. And then one thing we can't really do, but that was really cool, was that the windowsill was just the entire space. It was just like one long shelf basically, which I did really like, but it doesn't really work. Why does it give me a lighting glitch? That's so annoying. What if they're white? Do we then get a lighting glitch? Yes, I do. What if there is no light? Aha! What if they were black? You see it less, but you still see it. Why is it so weird, you know? Sometimes I just don't get it. Like, why does that become so dark? That's weird. That's bothering me. The more I look at it, the more I'm realizing that it feels a little bit insane to have a bathroom that's this size when the entire house is this size. It feels like a lot. And I think if I could, you know, I would have made it like 1.5 tiles wide and the entire house would in general be squished just a little bit more. But maybe, even though I will hate the symmetry of it a little bit, maybe just to get a slightly tighter space. That's probably better, to be honest. And then I think out here, what we might do is that, and then this is for the bikes that don't exist in the base game. Or I will figure it out later. I think we kind of have all of the furniture, honestly, which leaves decorations. So I found a selection of items that I want to clutter the space with, and I just want to spare you of me looking through the catalog because that's absolutely horrendous. I'm thinking for the kitchen, we're going to clutter up this little mini fridge. So we'd probably want the knives pretty close to this space so they could go there. Then we could have the, what is this called? The kitchen roll, the paper towel. Kitchen roll is a direct translation of the Danish word. So no, you do not have a kitchen roll. Paper towel. Great. Moving on. What if I guess we can actually move this one, but I can just place this like right there maybe. Yeah, that slots. Great. Then we have our spices right there. Some cookies. We all want cookies. Maybe we don't want cookies. Maybe it's a little too much. And just a little bit of salt and pepper right there. I think that's pretty good. And then we all place this one, which is now actually a little bit difficult because I can't see it, but like that, right? How does that look? It looks like everything should be moved to the right. Great. So let us do that. Love that for us. Moving thing. We need to move thing. Maybe these are just placed a little bit random because they're constantly using them. And also, yes, they do come in a lighter tone. What about this one? It's a little bit ugly, but it is maybe better. What about this one? Yes, they're just obsessed with the light items in this household, I guess. And then it goes there. That looks better. Let's go with that. Then we have this little one, which I was thinking we could probably put up here because that's just kind of cute, right? Then the coach bags, I was technically thinking we could put in here. I think that could look pretty good. I don't know. I never really liked this collab, but now we have the items, so we might as well use them to just clutter up the space even more. And then in front, just have some of their perfume and a little book. Everyone gets a little book. There you go. And so have their nail polish. There's literally nowhere else to put it in this house. And then maybe they have their perfumes, which are a little bit smaller so they can fit right there. And then also the person over here blows their nose at night. Seems realistic. And then I found this. I was just about to say blanket carpet. Why do we have the grid on? There we go. And I was thinking that even though it doesn't really fit, I have sized it down a bit, but maybe it would be nice to have something like that. Probably a slightly lighter color. I actually kind of like that one. And I also found this little pillow. It's also very cute. I absolutely love that they at some point added pillows. They can at least add a little bit of detail to some of these boring ass couches like that. Maybe a different color. Maybe we could have two like different ones. Oh, that actually also kind of works, I guess. And then I do honestly quite like rotating them just the slightest bit so that they are a bit further into the couch. Yes, actually maybe even a bit further. That looks kind of cute. And then I did find this piece. I guess if we just custom place it, it's fine. And then you never want to sit in this corner because you will always bump your head on that shelf. But that's not too important, I guess. It's just a nice piece. It just adds a lot of flutter to the space, I feel like. And then this one I was thinking could go in here. It's not really the same color, but art is a little bit limited if you don't know. So when I see other people all place things, I'm like, either you are an expert or you've been editing this video very well, or you don't care about them not being properly aligned. Kidding me? Oh my god. Okay, I think there. And then I'm thinking in here we can probably fit like these ones. I don't think that's too weird, right? Get those in a lighter color. Sure thing. And then, oh yeah, I did add this rug, which actually doesn't match that well, but I don't really think I care. So let's just get another one. Perfect. So like there. And then lighting. Don't really have a small table lamp, but I do also just kind of love this. It's kind of big, but it is very beautiful. And maybe, I mean, I guess this would match, but maybe that's a little bit too busy. I kind of like the light colors. That's actually really nice. Maybe we could also get wall lights that we imagine a place like, oh my god, wall, like there. That looks pretty good, right? That's decent. Oh, maybe this one. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's get that. Looks cool. Okay. Should we maybe get a shelf on top of our TV? Will the Sims then be able to pass through? Why do they not appear to be the same color when I know that they are the same color? So annoying. What if we get that and we just make it tiny? I think I'll live with that. Is that we can place some more decorations. Should we put the cookie jar up here? It's actually kind of funny. We can get a little picture with some butterflies. Hello. You spin my head right round when you... There we go. Oh, maybe this as well. Kind of cute. I don't think I really want to add a fence, but I do want to close it off. So maybe a fence is best. But that's so ugly. And I don't like ugly. I like nice. We do a hedge. That would actually be so sick. Oh, we could technically iron, kind of a waste of money, but we could technically just do a hedge down here. That would give us a bit of an edge, and it will also make it a lot nicer and greener, and I think I like it like that. Kind of cute, right? Why does that not match? That is so... But then I guess maybe this could just be cute. Kind of cute. Little bit cute. Maybe a little bit cute. Okay. I think I might want to cut off the lot so that it just seems smaller. If this is just like the edge of the lot, if that's what we are imagining, it's like that. I don't know how common it is in America. In Denmark, it's very common that your lot is closed off with hedges. Or do I maybe just want to do... I kind of want a double gate. It doesn't really match per se, but oh, maybe that could actually kind of work. This honestly kind of matches the best. And then we'll get the gate in maybe more of a grayish color, and then it's floating. And now it's not floating. Great. And then if we just move all of these a little bit. Do we even need this? I kind of need... What if we... I think I'd like the debug one better though. Sorry, when I talk to myself, when I'm also talking to myself, that I'm actually talking to you, I tend to like talk with a very low voice and mumble a lot. So my apologies. I also don't know what I'm looking for. Everyone need planters. If you are a sim, you need a little planter. Maybe you can just have that instead. It's very badly placed. I'm very aware of that. That's better. And then what else? What can we even have outside? They don't have a child, so that doesn't make sense. Do they look at things? Maybe they have a little observatory. Oh, you know what? I just found the perfect use for a weird space. And it actually makes sense. Cool mailbox for the cool people living in this cool house, like there. Ah, yeah. And then, oh, plants, of course. I was like, what else do you have in a garden? Well, we could have some plants. Not a bad idea, what I'm thinking. I could add a tree here. Even though it's not their lot, there could just be a tree, right? Sure. And then maybe like these small trees. Well, we make them small like that. It's kind of cute. And then bushes, shrubbies, shrubby-loobies. So my camera stopped recording because my SD card was full and I'm a little bit unsure when we left off, but what I do know is that footage of me doing landscaping in general just isn't very interesting. So here we are, and the build is now done, and I just want to show you real quick. So it's all base game. If you're seeing items that you maybe don't really recognize, that is just because it's probably like live edit objects. So we do have these like long flower here, and we also have the small like flower pot like that one, and all of the stone as well, which is actually quite interesting. So these are all like individual stone pieces that I placed, and then I just with terrain painted all of the small like pebbles underneath that technically are supposed to match this, and for today we are pretending that it does. Okay, good. So this is now the back garden. There's not a whole lot. I think my general issue with The Sims 4 is that it feels like you need to overdo things for them to actually seem like they're nicely detailed, because this is a pretty nice back garden. And I think I just kind of imagine that if you live in a tiny house, maybe in general, you just care about the environment more, or you want to like, you know, grow your own vegetables. So there's room for that. So there's a little seating area out here. I placed the not dumpster, but bins out here, so we actually have a perfect purpose for this little cutout, which is nice. So inside, if you just want a top view, we now have the slightly smaller bathroom, the living situation, and the bedroom situation. And for once, I actually play tested before finishing the video, so I can say already that everything works. So this is what it's going to look like on the gallery as well. I don't think you saw me decorate the bathroom. I know you didn't see me decorate the bathroom. So it's just a few items here and there for a nice little bathroom, so that it's a bit more cozy. And then for the living room, I hope you saw most of the decorations with the pillows, and also with our little desk situation. I added a shelf up here for some more decorations. So just cutesy items all over, because I feel like even for tiny space, I just like that it looked more like lived in. So those are the items that we have added. We don't have a sink in the kitchen, and we shall mention that no more. So the bedroom situation is actually quite big. We of course imagine that they can actually access these items, and as you can see, Kyle has been here. He is my playtest sim. So if you ever download any build of my gallery, just know that Kyle have probably slept in every single bed in the house. And now we have our nice items here, kind of indicating maybe who sleeps where. And I also went in and added a bookshelf, and you can still access this area just fine. So there's just one more thing to do. And since this is a tiny house, that is basically it. There's not really that much more to show you. And I also think you've seen most of it after all. Outside, just, you know, added a few details here and there. And then of course, the lighting. And that is basically it. So I very much enjoyed building this one. I definitely do think it could have a cool upgrade if we use like business and hobbies or eco lifestyle, but I do like it for a base game house. It is a total of 62 tiles because these 2 tiles were deleted. So it is a tiny house also if you have that pack and want to play with that. So lastly, I feel like I just need to mention that I never imagined being away from this for like 2 weeks would make me forget all of my vocabulary to describe anything and basically how I generally do this. But I feel like today I've just been so clumsy, so my apologies, but it's here. So this is our base game tiny house. I really hope that you enjoyed watching, and with that I wish you a lovely day. I hope to see you next time, and bye!